This one that I'm about to tell you should be illegal or regulated, and you need to know this one, okay? And agents aren't pushing back on this one, and clients don't know what's going on, and this one needs to be talked about. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. So today, I've got to make this video. I've got to make it. It's going to draw some flack. It's going to be some heat seeker missiles coming straight at me. But you know what? I made a list, okay? After navigating the real estate world in 2020, 2021, both as a real estate investor and a real estate agent, I got to make this video. And you've seen me pretty much document most of my real estate endeavors here on this channel. So you could see how the frustrations I went through, everything that I went through to do what I do what I did. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the top dirty tricks real estate agents play on the world, the bad ones. There's some really bad ones out there, and there's some really good ones out there. And you know what? They cost about the same. So I want to show you guys how to recognize a good one, how to recognize a crummy trick when you see one, and maybe give you some inside information, whether you're a new real estate agent, you're a seasoned real estate agent, or you're a person trying to buy a house and want to know more about how to buy a house and the process. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to do my best to make this kind of fun and interactive, but yet give you the nuts and bolts of what I've been going through for the last year. Okay, here we go. All right, so the first trick I want to talk to you about, and it's not necessarily a trick as it is a tactic by a lot of real estate agents, and I see it a lot. It's the underlist, over deliver. Okay, I see this a lot where an agent will say, well, what do you want to list your house for? And in their mind, they already know about what your house is going to sell for. But the more they ask above their comps, the harder it's going to be for them to fulfill that transaction. Whatever their listing agreement is, the document you get when you go to list your house, it'll say what the agent is willing to list it for, and the commission price and everything they're going to charge for listing your house. Anything they go above their comps, the things they have compared your houses with on the market, their comparables, if the more they go above that, they know the harder it is for them to deliver, and the more time it's going to take, and the longer the transaction. So if they can underlist just a tad within that threshold to where the transaction is going to be a lot easier for them, they will list it there. And we saw it a lot in 2021 when housing prices were going up. Some didn't recognize that the price was well above what their comparables were or what their comps were. So they would list on the comps from that hadn't changed in 6 months or a year or 5 years. And then they would get 25 offers all of a sudden because the market had ran past what their comps were saying. And they would sell the house in an hour and I sold the house. Well, it was mind-boggling to me when I would look at some of these prices, and I saw a lot of it in the older agents. They would list the price and then they would argue about their comps. And I'm over here saying, well, I'm not arguing with you about your comps, man. I'm arguing about your price, because the price was that you offered this house for sale for was well below what you should have marketed it for. You undersold this property for your client by at least $10,000 or $15,000. Saw this all over the place where they were missing comps, and they underlisted and undersold the property. So a lot of times they will market the property, hey, I'll get you this price. They sell it in an hour, and then they go all over social media saying I sold it in an hour. Well, they probably undersold the property. And that's the first one I wanted to talk about. So just recognize this happens. Make sure you really grill your agent on his comps or her comps. And, maybe set that ticker mark of that property a little above your comps. I personally do a 10% above just for margin of error, because I can always come down after a few weeks or a month or whatever, and I know I'm getting my client the best price possible, and I also have the biggest social media platforms to where I can get a little higher price for a property just because of being able to market it better. All right, number 2 is the no platform agents. Okay, these are the awesome headshots, the awesome car, the awesome suit, the I can do everything, but when you look them up, they have no platform, no social media, no nothing, okay? And I always say to myself, as the other person on the other side, if I was an investor or I was selling my house, how are you going to sell that house any better than this guy over here? Because they're going to put it on the same MLS, right? And if you really grill them and really grill them, they don't really have a plan other than just putting it on the MLS and letting the market take its scenario. So when they go to put it on the MLS, ask them these questions. Do you have a social media platform? What is your peer networking circle, and how are you going to sell this house fast? Do you have a lot of followers on social media that will see my property? Are you going to run Facebook ads? Are you going to do the things that will get my property sold? Because headshots don't sell houses, neither do fancy cars or being able to pronounce realtor or realtor correctly. That does not sell houses. What sells houses is a network, a personality, notoriety, and knowing the market. And this is one that's really frustrating with me because most agents cost the same. Most are going to charge you 6% or 2.5%, or 3 and 3. And so get the best. Get the best one you can with the most volume. Ask them for the volume they've sold this year, not in the past, this year. Because if they're not doing transactions, they don't know the market. Just ask those questions. And if they can't answer it, move on to the other agent. Because you get what you pay for, and just keep that in mind. Oh, and don't hire an agent because they're cheap. If you're listing, don't hire them because they're cheap. It's probably because they're not any good. Most good agents are going to get you the best price, and they're going to charge you more, but they're going to get you the best price, and they're going to work hard. And no agent in their right mind is going to work hard for you for 1%. It mathematically doesn't work out for them. You pay good professionals what they're worth, and you get what you pay for. Let's move on to the next one. All right, number 3, okay? And this one's moving into the investor world. It's moving into some of your seasoned agents, okay? And that's the tire kicker, okay? The guy that walks around kicking the tires on a car, saying all the things that are wrong, okay? So there's a few things that I strongly urge new realtors, real estate agents, realtors, however you want to pronounce it, is know how a house is built, okay? And understand the things on a house. Go take you could take a basic construction course or go on YouTube and just watch how electrical wiring works, the proper things about code and how it's actually, like, what is code? Most people don't understand what code actually means, but then they'll quote it to you when they're trying to go back and forth with you about price. Okay, first thing they're going to ask about, roof. Is it 15 years old? It used to be 20, now it's 15 because insurance is changing. They'll try to tell you things about electrical wiring. Other agents will grill you on these things. Hey, well, there's double tapping in that box. Understand what double tapping means. Go look up in the code, the NEC code on electrical work, or look up plumbing and how that stuff works, and have a basic understanding of how a property works. Because what they'll do is they'll say, your roof's old, we want $5,000 credit, $10,000 credit for the roof. And then they'll say, oh, well, it's 1 year out from insurance, that's 15, or blah, blah, blah. And they'll try to bring down the price, or they'll try to pressure you. My big tip for this is buy an electrical book, NEC, or any of the codes for electrical, which stands for the National Electrical Code. Like, buy that book, study it, or go to like Electrician U on YouTube. He's got a great channel on how to understand electrical work. No, as a real estate agent, you're not allowed to actually talk about really you're not allowed to advise about inspection stuff. But you need to know and understand when you're in a conversation with another agent, like the parts of a house. You need to understand how a floor joist works and how floors are built, and have a common understanding of certain things, electrical boxes and when wiring is dangerous and when it's not, cloth wiring versus paper wiring versus knob and tube and things like that. Just understand that stuff, because other agents will push you on it, and if they feel like you are weak in the conversation, they're going to push and they're going to win, and they're going to wind up getting more money out of your client, or the vice versa, money off on the transaction. So just have a common understanding that the other agent you're going to have ones that are going to tire kick, and they're going to come in, they're going to say, this is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Be able to battle those things. Prepare yourself and understand. And if your agent doesn't understand parts of a house, fire them. Find another agent. These are just things that, this is why I wanted to make this video, to where you understand what's going to happen in the lingo. The other agent's going to come say, hey, home inspection says this. Your agent's going to have to battle this. And then you as the client, you're going to be on the other side saying, well, why didn't you tell them you can put that in a box, or you can do this, that's not right, why aren't you telling the other agent this? Push back on them. You as the agent should know this. And then if I'm going up against an agent that does not know this, and they say that's not going to pass FHA, and I say, how is it not going to pass FHA? And makes them tell me what's wrong and have to elaborate, and most of the time they can't. So just know your agent, know some things about houses, and test them before you actually get into the pits with them. All right, so the next one is the right to inspect, right to cancel. A lot of contracts, especially here in Florida, have the right to inspect, right to cancel. And what you'll see in the investor world, and when I was an investor, I was guilty of it. But it was, as an investor looking in, is different than being the real estate agent that has to buffer these from your client. And then if you're the client, understanding when you're reading a right to inspect contract, what can happen. Okay, so this is basically saying they have the right to bounce out if they find something in an inspection they don't like or whatever. They can cancel the contract, move on. It allows them to inspect. They have an inspection period, etc., etc. Well, what you'll get is some people and some agents will throw bunches of contracts out. They'll put 5 contracts out and not even go and see any of these properties. And they know when they get it under contract, they can bounce out. So let's say they send 2 contracts out and one of them sticks, right? But you're over here as the agent showing your client this other contract they sent out, and you choose it. And they're already fixing to cancel it on you because they found another house they like better, but they put contracts out on both. Know that can happen to you, and it's really down and dirty to where your client's all excited and you've got this contract in front of them, and then all of a sudden you get an email saying, hey, we withdraw our offer, or we cancel our offer. Or they get into the contract and they find one little thing they don't like and they're out. So know that it can be a robber of your time, your effort, and your sanity. And another one to add to that is the short time period on basically answering a contract or accepting a contract. Some agents will throw stuff at you and give you 2 or 3 hours to think about it, or 6 hours. They'll put a timestamp on it on when the effective date of the contract ends. And it can leave you high and dry, might even have time to react with your client. Just know that what they're trying to do is get you to compulsively accept the contract or make a decision. Odds are that if you just take your time, you can rewrite the contract. And if they really want the property, then they're going to rewrite it. If not, you probably didn't want to be in the deal with that person to begin with, because they're probably trying to pull something on you. They probably know something you don't, or, maybe that deal is just not for you. So just know that they can do that to you. Usually they have a 24-hour window to accept, but some will pull that short term. And if you really want to pressure somebody, you can put a short term on there, and that's actually legal. All right, so the next one is, this one really fires me up, okay? And I have been screaming on social media for this ever since the pandemic started and the real estate market exploded, okay? This one that I'm about to tell you should be illegal or regulated. And you need to know this one, okay? And agents aren't pushing back on this one, and clients don't know what's going on, and this one needs to be talked about. So this one is called the highest and best, okay? I dealt with this one all weekend and probably for the last 6 months. And so what happens is, let's say you've got a property. Property is awesome. Market's booming. And 3 or 4 offers come in a day. And the agent will do what's called ask for highest and best. And the way this should go down is those that have submitted an offer, they should send an addendum out or a memorandum or a notification out to all parties and be like, hey, we've got multiple offers. Please send your highest and best by 5 p.m. It allows you to react and put forth your next offer. You're like, oh my gosh, there's multiple offers. We're gonna lose this. If you want this, you gotta pay up for it. And that's what they're wanting you to do. And it creates this high blood pressure environment that your client's freaking out because they want the house. You're freaking out because you want to get it for your client and you want to make the sale. And all the other agents are doing the same thing, and it makes people bid up the price, okay? And what's frustrating to me is the agents won't tell you what the bid is. Most states you're not allowed to say, hey, this is my highest price. Are you willing to top it? No, they could have, let's say the bid is $200,000. Let's say the asking price of the house is $200,000 and you offer $200,000 and the other contracts are $195, $190, $192, $193 with some weird closing costs and blah, 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 blah. And the agent, the seller's agent will just say, multiple offers, best and final by 5 p.m. And now that guy that's asked for $200,000 is like, well, should I go 205? Should we go 220? We got to have this house. Should we do 225? Let's do 230. Send it. And the other people are doing the same thing, and they're like 205, 210, and it balloons the price, right? And from an outside person looking in, when I look at these transactions, I'm like, you just made my client pay more money than they should have. You didn't have a offer that was beating mine, but you called best and final. You wouldn't tell me how much money you needed to complete the transaction. You basically conned my client out of more money by playing on their fear of losing the property. That should be regulated. I really believe, here's what I believe. I believe that when you go into a multiple offer scenario, the highest should be declared, or the offer should be declared, and everybody know what the bid is. And then they're allowed to beat whatever the highest bid is, or submit again. And I mean, when you run an auction, it's like that. I don't think that that's fair. And the escalation clause was created in a contract by some smart thinkers to combat this, saying that if I offer $200,000, I'm willing to match a price up to $220 in $1,000 increments or whatever. $1,000. I'll pay $1,000 over whatever higher offer is than mine, up to a certain amount, $220 or whatever. And that allowed you to compete with only submitting one offer and not having to play that game. The problem is title companies and lenders, they don't know how to place this escalation clause, because what are we actually talking about when you get to the legal, doctrine of a contract? And so there really needs to be regulation on this. I hope NAR and everybody, the states, figure that out, because I think we really didn't see it that much until the housing boom of this last year. All right, so moving right on to the next one. I hope you're still with me. And if you're still with me, don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below if you've got any big things you want to talk about on the last ones or these next ones. I just want to make this video, and I know it's a little long-winded, but the world's got to know these things. And I hope the real estate agents out there that are new understand these things. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because I'm going to do some more videos. I like doing these types of videos because Nobody taught me this stuff, and I had to learn the hard way by getting beat by other agents. So moving right along. All right, so this one happened to me recently, and I had never seen this one pulled. It's pretty sly. Older agents can pull it on younger agents all the time. And this one's called boxing out. I deemed it boxing out. I don't know what the real terminology is. So it has to do with double-siding contracts and not submitting offers to the client. A good example this weekend, saw this house, beautiful house, client loved it. Amazing Airbnb, right there on the water, cute house, not another one like it, right? Drove over there, saw it, saw on the MLS, there's gonna be an open house on Sunday at like 4 o'clock, and we go and we see it early and we love it. And I call the agent right away. Hey, love this house. I mean, it'd been on the market like 2 hours. Love this house. Love this house. I'm sending you an offer. I'm sending you an offer right now. And I was in contact with him the whole hour drive home. Got there. I wrote the contract, in contact with him, wrote the contract, client sign it. We send it over there as is. Super awesome offer. Sends me an email back. Sorry, under contract. And I was like, you just told me 10 minutes ago to send you this contract. You just told me that you weren't going to even look at offers until Monday after the open house on Sunday. And he's like, sorry, thanks for submitting. And, you know, I thought back on the conversation there beforehand, and he prefaced everything he said was, well, you never know. You never know. You never know. Client can make a decision. You just never know. And he prefaced it to where you never know. But what he was planning to do, the moment he got the property listing agreement ready to go, he already was searching to double side that contract. And he basically buffered everything else out until he got that double-sided contract. He put forth to the public that there's going to be an open house. It's called the fake open house. It's called the fake open house game. Like this is what you refer to it, you know, in the real estate world. He puts forward to the public, I'm not even going to look at your offer until Monday. So most agents are like, you know what? I'm going to sit back. We got some time. We're going to get our lending letters together, our finances together, contract. Client knows we're not going to sweat it until Sunday night. And meanwhile, this guy's already got the contract signed. And he's just putting it forth to the public that he's going to do all this for the client and there's all this that's going to be done. He just turns around to his client and is like, hey, you got to take this. Hey, you got to take this thing right now. You got to take this thing right now. Every offer that he's come in, he's already told that it's under contract or that we're not accepting them until Monday. And then he pushes forth this contract and double sides the deal and gets double the commission, full commission. And when you talk to these agents, they're going to play the most smooth talking, hey, sorry, well, you know, we'll take you as a backup offer. And then they'll immediately send you one back. Sorry, a client declined you as a backup offer. Thanks for submitting an offer, blah, blah, blah. No matter what you say to this guy, that's what you're going to get. And I call it boxing out. Never even showed his client the other offers. He played the buffer. And you won't know until the property closes and you're able to look up and see if your offer was actually better than that one. There was actually one online not too long. There was actually one on the news the other day for like, I think the property was like $4 million. Guy next door offered 4.5. The agent had double-sided the $4 million offer, didn't show the other offer to the client. The client never knew. The other offer, the 4.5 cash, no contingencies, contacted the seller afterwards and was like, hey, why didn't you accept my offer? I was $500,000 cash above the rest of them. He's like, I didn't see the offer. And both the client and the other offer file suit against the agent and say, hey, you basically didn't present the offer. That was against the law. We're suing you. They'll win. Okay, so just keep in mind that boxing outs happened, not showing all offers. That's happened to me. I don't know how many times, and it's crazy that it actually happened. Okay, this is one of the last ones I think I'm going to talk about, and real estate agents recognize that this will happen. This is called the fake listing, or the fake pocket listing, where some of the older agents will put a very vague description picture of stuff up on the MLS. The MLS has kind of figured some of these things out, and they won't allow you to do some of these things, but they can put it on Zillow, or they can put it on a lot of these other websites where they put up a picture, they put up a very vague text, and sometimes they won't even have the address, and they'll wait for people to contact them. And it's a good way for people, for an agent to fill up a buyer's list or contact information with very easily, because all these people are contacting them or calling them. And it's kind of like a bait and switch, to where they're just trying to get your contact information to their buyer's list. And just be aware when you see that, and you see a really bad picture, and you see a really bad text, that could be what's happening. Another thing that happens with listings. So, like, let's say a agent has a listing, buyer's agent calls and be like, hey, my client wants to see the property. He'll preface something like, hey, yeah, awesome. What's the client's name so I can put him on the list? His phone number, I put him on this list so he can get into the property, or blah, blah, blah. What they're really doing is they're getting your client's contact information, and it's just going to circle back and try to contact your client. A lot of this is illegal, but this stuff happens. People lose their clients all the time. Same way with pocket listings. Somebody will go around, an agent will go around and be like, yeah, that's my listing. It's a pocket listing. I've got a lending agreement, or I've got a listing agreement already signed with them. I just hadn't put it up. I'm getting there, I just haven't put it up. Meanwhile, there's no listing agreement. Probably hadn't even talked to the person. And it'll keep other agents from going and talking to the property owner to try to get the listing. So these are all just tricks. The last one I'm going to talk about is the as-is contract. Here in Florida, we have an as-is contract. People think that, when you're buying a house as-is, that it's as-is, but if you read the as-is contract and in the inspection, there's like a little inspection period in there. You can almost get out of that as-is contract for almost anything. When you look at the as-is contract, your client thinks, oh, well, they're taking it as-is, no biggie, whatever, they're taking it as-is. Well, it's as-is when the inspection report comes back and you're on day 15 of this property, and now you got a lot of things wrong with it about that weren't disclosed. Your client probably didn't know. And they're saying, well, if you don't repair these things, we're bouncing out. And the agent's going to be like, hey, agent, next time you relist, you're going to have to say it's got termites, and it's got this, and it's got electrical, or it's got aluminum wiring, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to have to disclose it. So you want to come down on a price or what? What are you going to do? So be aware that one, when you see an as-is contract, it is a good way for an investor or a guy that's been in the game a lot to beat your price down. And if you're the client, you got to understand that could be coming, because that happens a lot. And sometimes there's no way around it, especially if insurance won't bind and you're getting a loan and things like that. Sometimes repairs are going to happen. And do you want the money or not? What's your scenario of completing the transaction? But that's all I got, guys. I wanted to make this video. I wanted to make it educational, and I wanted people to know that these things happen. I got a longer list of these things. Like scams and all these are out there. You really don't get them you don't know them until you see them. And I'm just trying to allow people to know up front what some of these games are, and to understand the world of the real estate, because I love real estate, and I think, selling real estate is cool. I like investing in real estate, and it's made me a lot of money over the years. And it's something that everybody can do. It's just, you just got to understand the way the game's played. And there's guys out there that played it way longer than you, and they're way better. And you just got to learn these things to get better. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below if any of these helped, and I'll see you on the next video. I actually had fun making this video. That's what YouTube's all about. I'll see you later.